what the actual is going on.
Tell me you love me.
Where the heck did we leave off? Okay, so last time we talked, I was mentioning how I was in my car. I pulled up to my boyfriend's house to show him my car, and also I went to show him something else. And what I mean by something else, I mean Grindr, his profile, the distance, all of that. So I'm in the car, and I said, so, is this your profile? And he got so quiet. Literally, you could hear a pin drop. And in that moment, I was like, he's gonna punch me in the face. Like, I'm in the car, he's probably gonna like try to jack me. But in my brain, I was like, I don't care, I'm going for this, like, the end. Call me crazy, but those were the thoughts that were going on in my head. So he was completely quiet. And then he said, well, yeah, that is my profile. I went on the day that you brought up the whole Grindr thing, and I got on Grindr to see who had my profile. And I was like, huh? So this profile right here that I'm showing you is you? This is yours? And he said, oh yeah, I went on the moment that you brought up the whole Grindr situation, and I just wanted to see who had my picture. But the crazy thing is that he didn't know that I was talking to this profile that he agreed that was his. So I said, oh, that's all I need to know. That's it. And then he was like, oh, I feel like you're tricking me. Like you came over here to show me your car, and now you're bringing up the Grindr thing that you said that you let go of. Yes, in a sense, I was kind of tricking him. But we wouldn't be in this situation if he was dishonest. You know what I mean? Like, there wouldn't have been this type of situation going on at all if you would have been like, yo, I was on Grindr, my bad, the end. But no, his lie literally snowballed into like something massive, you know? So at that moment, I was like, oh, that's all I need to know. He's over there like, oh my God, I can't believe you're tricking me. Like, I'm so distraught. Like, this is all on you, that type of thing. So he just got up out of the car. I drove away. Later on that day, I don't know how it happened, but we ended up meeting up again. I just wanted him to be open with me. I wanted him to be honest with me. Could he do it? No. He kept giving me more excuses and more excuses. He cried. And as he was crying, I wanted to feel him. I wanted to feel like, oh shoot, he's really sorry for whatever has happened. But it felt put on. It felt like he was like forcing tears. Like I really wanted to feel him. I really wanted to be like, you know what, Ruba, officially let it go. Like seriously, Ruba, but I couldn't. It all felt fake. It all felt like a ginormous lie. But I sat there and I entertained it. I really did. And, you know, I let him know how much I loved him, because till this moment, I still love him. And that was about it. So the next day, we decided to have breakfast. And in a sense, it kind of felt like a burying the hatchet type of breakfast. It was like, yo, on to bigger and better. We're cleaning the slate. The end. So we went out to breakfast. He picked me up. I was in the car. We're driving to this like smoothie place. And I dropped my lip chap, my chapstick. Literally, I dropped it into the side of the seat. And I looked and I was like, oh shoot. I was like, babe, I dropped my lip chap. Like, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll get it as soon as we park. So a week before, matter of fact, 2 weeks before, was it 2 weeks? A week before, I was in his car and I noticed that there was some popcorn that was spilled on the side of the seat. Now, he has like a big dog, so anything can happen. Okay, that wasn't out of the norm. Okay, I saw some like popcorn on the side of the seat. So as we get to the smoothie place for breakfast, he gets out of the car, goes on my side of the car, and he gets my lip chap, and he says, "Oh, he was like my roommate dropped this popcorn last night, and she didn't pick it up." Now, I know that may sound very small and minute of a problem for me to even be bringing up, but the fact that I saw the popcorn on the side of his seat a week ago, and now he's saying, "Oh shoot, my roommate dropped the popcorn yesterday night," he's clearly lying. So that completely triggered me. That threw me over the edge. I was like, yo, are you lying about something so small? So I know for a fact that you're never, ever, ever going to admit to the fact that you were on Grindr. You're not. So in general, you're a liar. I officially came to the conclusion that he was a liar at that point. I was like, you know what? I can't do this at all. Like, it scared me. Like, I had like this creepy, like eerie sensation over me. I was like, yo, I can't do it. I get it. People lie. I get it. But in this case, it just was like one lie after the other. And if you're lying over something so tiny, God knows what you'll lie to me about in the future. Like, I cannot have this. I can't. And like, I just hope you guys understand the back and forth type of energy that I felt. I was like, I really want to be with him, but he's lying. I really want to be with him. Stand your ground. I really want to be with him. Is he going to continue to lie? Like, those were the thoughts that were going on in my head within the last like 72 hours. I was like, this is too much. Like, I don't want to start a relationship based off of lies. Like, I don't want to do that at all. Like, this should be like the best moment of like my life right now and your life right now. We're supposed to be having such a great time, but ask me if we are. I know for a fact that I'm not. Like, I know it for a fact. So he lied to me about like this popcorn. He was saying that his roommate spilled it last night and she didn't get it up and blah, blah, blah. So while we get our smoothies, I'm just sitting there like, I don't believe anything that you're saying. Like nothing whatsoever. So I basically went along with the motions while we were getting our smoothies and things of that nature. Finally, he drops me off at my place. Probably 5 minutes after I get home, he texts me and he said, "Your sweet soul doesn't need me." I was already feeling like, I'm done. There's nothing else we can do. There's nothing else we can do to make this relationship work. I texted him and I said, "You're right. I think we should just be friends." And I sent the little like friendship holding hands emoji and sent it. He responded with, "Whoa, ouch." What was I supposed to say? In that moment, what was I supposed to say? If someone says, "Your sweet soul doesn't need me," and I say, "You're right. I think we should just be friends," and you respond to me with, "Ouch. Wow," like, or whatever. It was something like that. I was like, ouch, really? Is this, now you want to like end this? It was that type of like energy. I may not be saying it verbatim, but that was pretty much what it was. It was very short and sweet. Like, oh, okay. So now you don't want us to be like together. After he said, "Your sweet soul doesn't need me," you know? So I just don't believe. One thing about me is that I don't believe in burning bridges. It's happened in the past and it's just such an uncomfortable like situation. I would rather be a young adult and be like, yo, I'm talking it out. I appreciate the time that we had, but this is not working. And that was my stance on this relationship as a whole. I really wanted to communicate because I feel like in a relationship, that is a huge communication to me. I think in a relationship is a huge component to everything. I really do. So that was my stance and we ended it. We were done. At that point, we were officially done. Later on that week, I cried. I went through the motions of feeling and being upset over me essentially ending the relationship, or him, I don't know, whatever you guys think it was, that's what it was. But that next week, I was like crying and basically getting over it. And I knew that it was going to get better because I went through the same situation as far as letting go or removing people and or removing myself from a relationship, a friendship with my friend of 5 years. So that moment of grieving and crying and being upset, it was familiar to me So I said to myself, Ruba, you're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. Just go through the motions and you're going to come out on top. So I was feeling really good. I was talking to my therapist and just like this feeling a lot better. So at this time, I was starting to feel more confident and comfortable with my decision as far as removing myself from the relationship after all the tears and the anger, etc., etc., etc. I was shooting with Young Hollywood, and after we wrapped, I was feeling really good about my day, and I was supposed to meet up with my friends and get drinks later on that day. So we're all texting each other in a group chat. You guys already know how a group chat works. It's just all of that back and forth, whatever. So I'm texting, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna run home, I'm gonna change, and then I'm gonna come meet you guys at whatever restaurant, whatever club you guys wanna go to. That's it. So I get home, I'm changing, I sit down on my couch, and don't ask me why, but I literally just picked up Grindr and I opened it up, just scrolling. The moment I opened up Grindr, the first person I see, are you guys ready for this? Is my ex-boyfriend. The very first person. For all of you guys who do not know how Grindr works, it breaks down all of the men who are on Grindr from closest to furthest. Now, when I opened up Grindr, my ex-boyfriend was the very first face that I saw. I was like, excuse me, why is this a thing right now? So I clicked on his profile, and when I looked down at the location, it says 14 feet away. Now at this point, I'm shook. I'm like, what the I grab my keys, I run to the garage, get in my car, and I pull out of my building. So as I'm pulling out of my building, I look over to my left, and I see my ex's car in front of my building, parked in front of my building. So I'm like, yo, what is going on? What the actual is going on? His windows are completely tinted, like jet black, like a limousine. It's like jet black. So I don't know if he's sitting in the car waiting for me. I don't know what is going on. So I pull over to like the corner of my street and I kind of park in a position where my car is facing my building. So I can see who's going in the building, who's coming out. So I'm sitting there, like tucked away, like in the cut. Like I know for a fact he couldn't see me. So I open up Grindr again just to make sure. And I see my ex-boyfriend. He's number one. And then I see my neighbor. So once again, as you guys can imagine, put yourself in my position. Right now, I open up Grindr, see my ex-boyfriend 14 feet away from me as I'm sitting in my apartment. I leave my building because I'm like, what the going on? Like, is he stalking me? What is going on? I didn't know. It just freaked me out. So now I'm sitting in my car. I look at Grindr. I see my ex-boyfriend, number one, and then I see my neighbor, number two. So at this point, I'm like, what is going on? Ruba, have you lost it? Are you hallucinating? What the actual is going on? So I'm like, there's no way. There is no way. There is no way in God's green earth that my ex-boyfriend is in there with my neighbor. There's no way. So I sit there in my car, completely faced my building. I'm directly looking at the front of my building, sitting there 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours. At this point, I'm not going anywhere until I see my ex-boyfriend leave my building. So 2 hours in, I'm calling everybody. I'm calling my friends. I'm FaceTiming. Like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, what do I do? My friends are trying to calm me down. So by the second hour, I call my brother. I'm letting him know exactly what's going on. So I'm letting him know how I'm sitting there in my car and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting for my ex-boyfriend to come out. So I'm talking to my brother. My brother's trying to calm me down. He's like, yo, chill out. You are better than this. Go back into your apartment. Stop. And I'm like, you know what? I was like, you're right. So he's still talking to me. He's trying to calm me down. I'm inside of my building. And I hear my brother talking, but I'm not understanding what he's saying at all. All I hear is womp, 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 womp. I have this urge over my body. I'm like, yo, they're leaving the building right now. Ruba, go. Immediately, my brother's still on the phone. I don't hear anything he said. Immediately, I run to the side of my building, like to the side of the gate. So if anybody coming out of the building, they cannot see me. So I'm on the side of the gate, and guess who I see? I see my ex-boyfriend and I see my neighbor walking out of my building. I see my ex-boyfriend get in his car, drive away, and I see my neighbor go back into the garage. As soon as my ex-boyfriend drove away, I ran to the garage just to make sure that I'm actually seeing what I'm seeing. And lo and behold, I see my neighbor. Now, normally, anytime I see my neighbor, we always kind of engage in short little like neighbor type conversation. Like, hey, how you doing? Love your outfit. Like that type of conversation. So I'm in my garage and I see my neighbor. He looks over at me and gets into his car. At that point, I was like, yo, something is going on. I don't know if he knows about me. I don't know what is going on, but he literally just looked at me and went into his car. I booked it, completely like blacked out. I just like collapsed to the ground and like started crying. I truly believe that I had like a freaking panic attack. Like I like was sobbing my eyes out. I didn't know what was going on. I had never in my entire life felt such pain before in my entire life. I kid you not. I was done. I felt so betrayed. I felt so disgusted. Like I was shook. Like the week before when I decided to end the relationship, I was hurt, but I knew that it was the best decision and I tried to move on. But at this point, I don't think I have ever felt so low, and it felt malicious. I don't know what the situation was ultimately, but it felt extremely malicious and I was completely distraught. There's no other words to describe how I felt other than I felt betrayed, I felt used, I felt disgusted. It hurt me a lot. It did. Because as you guys can imagine, I truly thought that I was going to be with this guy for a very long time. I really did. And I gave a huge part of myself to someone, and that was on me. I take full responsibility of my actions. I really do. But at this point, I'm just thinking like, yo, you completely opened your heart, your body, your soul up to this person that you essentially thought had your best interest at heart, who you thought that you could trust, who you thought that you connected with, and all of that went down the drain in a span of 2.5 seconds. It really did. Like, I didn't think that anyone was capable of what he did to me that night. I just was shook. It really took a toll. It really did. I kid you not. So I don't know how I managed to get back into my place, but I did. My brother's still on the phone. He's still on the phone. He's like, yo, what's going on? I let him know what happened, and he just was like, he like had no words other than like, I'm sorry. And I was like, I gotta go. He's like, are you good? I was like, I'm good. I gotta go. Hung up the phone and literally just cried the rest of the night. I literally just cried the rest of the night and just felt such pain, and I like could visualize like what he was doing with my like neighbor, and like of course I don't know what exactly happened, but I could only imagine, and it made me so sick to my stomach. Like, you guys have no idea. You literally have no idea. I truly don't understand how I'm even able to fully tell you guys this story without like losing it. Like, time has passed like a week. It hadn't even fully been a week yet. But time has gone by and I feel like I've done a complete 180 as far as like my emotions and like where my head is. But that was like the ultimate betrayal. It really was for me. So yesterday, I run into my neighbor for the very first time since the whole situation happened. I told myself that I was not going to bring this up at all to my neighbor because one, he has not a clue what is going on, and there's no point. There's no point. So I see him. He's like, hey. I'm like, hey. Keep it short. The end. I'm grabbing my keys, trying to get into my building, and he like stops me and he was like, hey, I heard your car, the car alarm was going off a few days ago. I'm surprised like you have a battery. Maybe you should like check on your car, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you so much. So now that he's got my attention, I took it upon myself to ask him, hey, do you know a guy, a white blonde guy? And he looks at me and he's like, you're gonna have to give me more than just, do you know a white blonde guy? And I said, do you know Eric? And he says, oh, yeah, I know Eric. And immediately, I don't know why, I had no business questioning this grown man. And I said, how do you know him? Immediately, my neighbor said, on Grindr. And I said, oh, okay. I was like completely shocked that he was so open. He was like, on Grindr. I was completely shocked because he owes me nothing, like nothing whatsoever. So he said, why? And I said, that's my ex-boyfriend. And my neighbor says to me, oh, ouch. Oh. He was like, so he's been here, like talking about our building? And I was like, oh yeah, he's been here several times. He was like, so my neighbor said he never mentioned anything about having an ex that lived here. He did mention that he just got out of a relationship, but he never mentioned that he had an ex who lived here. And I said, oh, no big deal. He said, we didn't do anything. All we did was like smoked. So when he said that, once again, he owes me no explanation whatsoever. But when he was like, oh no, we didn't do anything. We just smoked. I kind of like let it slide. I was like, oh no big deal. You don't owe me anything. Like no big deal. Thank you so much for even like engaging in the conversation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. He was like, yeah, I get it. He was like, yeah, dude, like thank God you found out before it was like too late. I kind of gave him like a brief little summary as to why we ended it. And he said, oh yeah, I won't tell him that we talked about this. So when he said that, I was like, so clearly they're still talking. Like I don't care if you tell my ex the conversation that we had, I really don't. And that's what I told him. Once again, thank you so much for even answering my questions. Thank you, like you owe me nothing. The end. He went a separate way, I went my separate way, and that was that. But I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that he was like, we didn't do anything. All we did was like smoked. I have such a hard time believing that they went on Grindr just to smoke weed. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that. Now, on the flip side, my neighbor owes me no explanation, but I just don't believe that. Please let me know what you guys think. Do you think that they just met up on Grindr just to smoke weed, or do you think that more happened? Because I think more happened. I really do. But that is pretty much everything that has happened within the last week. It's been crazy. My emotions have been all over the place, but I'm trying to learn from this situation. I really am. I don't really know the lesson that I fully learned, but it hurts. It definitely hurts for sure. But you guys, please let me know your thoughts. Do you think that my ex-boyfriend, Eric, did it maliciously, or do you think that it was a coincidence? Or do you guys think that my neighbor was being honest with me by saying that they did nothing, all they did was smoked weed, and that was it? Let me know you guys' thoughts because my brain is all over the place. Once again, let me know if you guys feel like this was malicious or if it was a coincidence. Let me know if you guys think that my neighbor was being honest about the fact that they only smoked weed and that was it. That was it. They did nothing else. Let me know. I just want to know you guys' thoughts. But anywho, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for like listening to me and just hearing me out. This has definitely been an experience for sure. Yeah, I love you guys. I will see you later. Stay beautiful. Deuces.